it's the biggest risk that, perceived risk that most people interface with is talking in front of a big.
Yeah, it's I would say that is I hesitate a lot more with that than I do jumping out of an airplane, so that should say something.
It should, yeah. And it doesn't necessarily say that you suck at it. It just says that you believe that you can't, And then you dig a little deeper and go, is that true? Is that really true that I suck at that? Because probably not. And of course, my performance is always variable based on my attitude and my emotions. And so the outcome will be a self-fulfilling prophecy either way. Yeah.
That's very true.
You are what you think. And more importantly, I think it's you are what you feel. That's what you're emanating as a message to the universe that you want more of that. Including terror. Self-terrorizing. And we find ourselves, in that trap that we set for ourselves. But skydiving is kind of straightforward that way, isn't it? You just go, well, either it's too windy or it isn't. Either my rig was packed by somebody I trust or not. These are very tangible things that you can isolate, and clarify the actual risks, and you can look at the consequences very clearly. Right?
Very much.
I love that.
I love that too. That's trying to explain to somebody why that is my most peaceful, meditative time because I literally cannot be anywhere else mentally.
Yep.
And it's like, if they get it, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'd like more people to get it.
Yeah.
But
Maybe they'll get it in some other way.
for sure.
Maybe it's not skydiving, but I do find that things that have a very tangible physical risk are a little easier to discern, right? Because the crowd, when you're giving a public talk or something, isn't really going to throw rotten apples at you. They're not going to hate you for fumbling over some words because you're nervous. They'll forgive you because they know that it's scary to stand up there. And you start sorting through that stuff and, well, what is the worst case scenario here? And once you've clarified that one, I think it's also valuable to say, well, how likely is that, right? And then that likelihood has to be reanalyzed again in terms of your leverage over that probability, right? Because if somebody that doesn't know how to skydive jumps out of an airplane, they're probably in big trouble. But somebody that's good at it, it's not a high probability of failure. It's actually, more likely than not, you're going to land exactly where you wanted, into the wind with a beautiful flare and a smile on your face. And if you're getting into something that it's over your head in terms of your skill set, that feeling could be a warning that you're in trouble. An ongoing process, to clarify in a multi-stage process. For me, that seems to be true. That it's not just one. If I just go with like yes or no binary with all my decisions in high risk situations, I'm not a complex model, that allows me to adapt and figure things out and reacquire a new attitude in the midst of that fear. An attitude that could uplift me into a state of empowerment that I go, yeah, wait a minute, I know what I'm doing. That's right, I kind of forgot for a moment. When I was breathing poorly, when I was freaking out a little bit, because I'm jumping a new parachute into a new place with new people, new planes, you add those things up and go, oh, okay. They seem like it's a big deal, and I'm adding up the variables in my mind and creating a mountain of worry. However, is it really that different? You just got to keep questioning, I think. Questioning the validity of the fear and the leverage that you have over it.